Thank you very much, Madam President. This amendment does have a number of moving parts, so I'll just describe them briefly, and then hopefully I can have the opportunity to make a case for it. There's 5 real pieces to this having to do with the Right to Read program in the state of Connecticut. And my focus is trying to resolve the issue that impacted so many towns across Connecticut, including 2 of the towns in the 16th Senate District. But let me describe this, and then we can talk really about why this is a good idea. The amendment would have 5 individual parts. The first part would effectively delay the implementation of that is currently listed as July 1st of 2024 as a deadline through July 1st of 2025. The second thing would be to change the deadline for the partial implementation date from 2025 to 2026. The third thing would be to require that the Department of Education prioritizes assisting local and regional boards of education that had an application that only received a limited determination. The fourth piece would exempt provisions of the requirements of the Right to Read program for school districts where the students in grade 3 demonstrate that the school district of such board is performing above proficiency in reading. And then the final piece says that for districts that were not compliant, the Department of Education will have to provide them within 60 days a detailed explanation of why that is. I move adoption, and I'd like a roll call vote, and hopefully I can also say another word or two about the bill.
Thank you. We will have a roll call vote when we vote on the amendment. And Senator McCrory, would you like to remark on the amendment?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and I thank my colleagues for bringing up the concern around that particular section of the bill. I believe my colleagues make some very strong and good, passionate points about these particular issues in regards to rights to read, but we as a state believe that this is the right way we should be going, and we've been working on this for a number of years. And plus, I don't want my colleague over there across the over there would kill me if I stopped just implementing this piece of legislation. But the concerns are really valid. However, though, all the work that we have put into this piece of legislation, all the resources that we have put in this piece of legislation, I think it will be detrimental if we stop and continue to delay what we all know that needs to happen. The reality is, in our state of Connecticut, there isn't one school district, I'm gonna say it slow, there isn't one school district in the state of Connecticut where 80% of their children can read on grade level by 3rd grade, okay? Not one. And 80% is, as an educator, that's a B-. And I know we can do much better than that. That's the state of Connecticut. And we have to find a way to do better than that, because we need competent, informed children, and we cannot continue to hold back the opportunities that we have. I think right now, like I said, with all the work, the resources, and the finances in place, this is a better time. There's no better time than ever to try to change the course of education for our children in all our school districts throughout the state of Connecticut. So I understand why we want this piece of legislation pushed back, but I ask my colleagues not to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Sampson.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I appreciate the chairman and his comments and his passion for quality education in our state, and I share that passion. The fact of the matter is that quality education may be the most important component to the future success of a society. And anytime I read a story that questions the quality of our school system in the state, it concerns me greatly. That's kind of why I'm standing here, really, is that I believe that the success in education comes from a lot of different areas. Obviously, you need quality professional teachers. You need resources that those schools can rely on. And I have been a strong advocate for those things the whole time that I have been here. One other thing that you need, though, is the autonomy of individual school districts to be able to make decisions about how they run and operate their own schools. The fact of the matter is we have 169 distinct communities in our state, and every one of them is a different environment. And it's very difficult to suggest that any type of one-size-fits-all policy should be used to provide education for students in all of those diverse towns. In fact, I believe the notion of local control in education is so important because what it allows for is individual school districts to develop programs on their own. In fact, they're almost all in competition with one another. And when you see one school district performing very, very well, that is a signal to other school districts to try and find out what's going on over there. Why is the town of Prospect doing so well, for example, or why is the town of Avon doing so well? We should find out what those things are. And when you start to have a top-down, one-size-fits-all system for education, what you are doing effectively is you are stifling the innovation that can occur in all of those individual school districts where all of those professionals are working hard to try and create the best possible education for their students. The idea that we could have 169 different school districts trying different things to improve education while they're comparing notes with one another is a beautiful thing. And I've always felt that that should be the role of the State Department of Education, to be a warehouse for that information. So school districts could go there to find out what's being used in different places and pick and choose what was best for their district. But sadly, the State Department of Education has become something different in my view, and that is a bureaucracy that wants to impose its will on all 169 towns, on every school district. They want to have a one-size-fits-all, top-down central planning approach, and that is unacceptable. And we saw with this right-to-read mandate just how unacceptable it is. Because in the process of trying to bring along underperforming school districts by requiring a specific mandate for how they're going to teach certain types of curriculum, in this case, reading for third graders, they also penalized quality school districts that were above the proficiency rating, ones that were actually outperforming the requirements. And that makes absolutely no sense to me. How do you go out of your way to punish school districts that are actually performing above the requirements that you've set for them? That's what this amendment is about, Madam President. I'm disappointed that it doesn't sound like we're going to have unanimous support for it, because I believe that we should all be looking for ways to improve education, and we should all be looking for ways to back up our professionals back home. And that's why I'm standing here, because I trust the people that run the education systems in each of the towns that I represent to know better than the State Department of Education. I don't want to belittle their qualifications. I'm sure they're brilliant people and they're good at what they do, but they are not there on the ground in the town of Cheshire or the town of Southington or the city of Waterbury. They're not there. My people back home are there. They're doing that job every day. They understand that environment. I trust them to make the best decisions. And this amendment will restore their autonomy to make those decisions in the best interest of those students. I really do urge the adoption of this amendment from my colleagues in both parties. Please consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.